I call this workshop meeting to order at 4 p.m. on July 11th, 2023. Please join me in the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Supervisor Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Councilwoman Freeman. Councilman Perdicone.
Here.
Councilwoman Romeo.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Attorney for the town.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. We had a very successful 4th of July. Record numbers in our race. Beverage garden was full. Everything went extremely well. No major incidents. And great to see community come together. And a big thank you to all the departments and employees that played a role in making it as successful as it was. We have open for business and electronic recycling on July 22nd from 8 till noon on that Saturday. Blood drive, July 25th at the library. Just a reminder, we are in Town Hall summer hours, Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 5:30. Is that correct? Yep. 8:30 to 5:30, and 9 to noon on Fridays. I just want to inform, for those that saw it, Channel 8 once again reported inaccurate information regarding UPREP and the zoning meeting that was held last night. There will be no vote by this town board at the next town board meeting regarding UPREP. That is not under our jurisdiction. That is being handled by the Zoning Board of Appeals, and that vote will take place at that. That's been a very confusing thing, and when it's reported inaccurately, it just adds to confusion. So Channel 8 did, I believe, make a correction this afternoon on that, but they reported last night that this board would be taking action on that at our next town board meeting, and that will not happen. That is not ours. And we will stay with that process and watch it through and see what the zoning board decides. So we will move on to department head updates, and we will start with our assessor's office.
Can you hear me? Hi.
Can hear you.
Thank you. Okay, so the 2023 reassessment project is completed through the grievance process anyway. All 21,160 properties in town were reassessed. The taxable value for the town for 2022 was $2,837,202,489. The taxable value for the town as of 2023 after the project and after grievance is $4,128,245,596. The informal process was conducted by our project partners EMPM. There were 1,901 informal reviews. Of those, 782 received reductions. The grievance process was conducted by the assessor's office. The process began May 1st with the acceptance of grievances up until 8 p.m. on May 23rd. Grievance hearings also began on May 23rd and ran through June 23rd. Our office received 999 timely grievances. Of those, a third were stipulated between the property owner and myself prior to a hearing before the Board of Assessment Review. Of the remaining grievances that were heard by the bar, there were 348 assessment changes. The next step in the process is the small claims assessment review. Residents, well, all property owners can file between July 1st and 30 days after our roll was published on July 1st with the Monroe County Clerk's Office. A SCAR application for small claims assessment review. That's for residential properties, and commercial property owners can also file Article 7s during the same time frame. So I will report how many of those we have once they're submitted and adjudicated, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions for our assessor? Okay, we'll move on to IT.
Thank you. Sort of a quiet month, just working through the phone system. Police department is on deck with that one. Hoping to have them cleared out in the next couple weeks. General help desk issues. And also continuing to look for our communications assistants to fill that role with the social media and information, general information.
Okay, anyone have any questions for Kevin? Okay, we'll move on to DPW.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. As always, we're continuing our 2023 road maintenance program this year. We have finished our Community Development Block Grant, our CDBG area Phase 1, which was in the Culver Norton area, and we are currently prepping to pave about a half a dozen roads located in the southwest portion of town. The department has been very busy this summer, continuing our operations, including tree, park, drainage, and sewer maintenance. So, thank you.
Great job, Tommy. Okay, we'll move on to our Community Development Office.
Thank you. I just wanted to give a quick update. We received many calls today. There was a water main break on Vinyl Avenue. And I was told just before I came down to this meeting that the water main has been repaired and they're testing it now. So residents should be getting their water back very soon. Just a additive to UPREP. They were before the Zoning Board of Appeals last night for an area variance. The application was tabled and will return to the next zoning board meeting on August 7th. At the June 26th Planning Board meeting, the site plan application was tabled until the July 17th Planning Board workshop. There will be a public hearing on July 31st, pending additional documents. Also, we're just in our busy season, lots of permits being issued, lots of complaints being taken in.
Okay, thanks, Mary. Any questions for Mary? And sorry, I was so excited about Tommy's talk that I didn't ask board if they want to have any questions for DPW and Tommy back there. No? All right. Okay, we will now move on to Director of Recreation, Shannon.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just want to echo the supervisor's statements about 4th of July Festival. Thank everyone for their participation and support. We are relieved and happy and proud of the event that took place last week and already looking forward to some of the upgrades and changes that we plan to make for next year for the 50th anniversary. So thank you for everybody who participated. Moving forward, working on upcoming events already. We have the Classic Car Show coming up next weekend. We have the Back to School Bash and Food Truck Rodeo at the end of August, and a whole variety of events and activities taking place for our fall event and program lineup. Currently working on our fall activity guide for the town and for the recreation department that will come out at the end of August and will outline offerings from September 1st through January 1st. And aside from planning out what's going to be happening down the road, we are working through the summer camps. It's hard to believe we're halfway through summer camp season already, but summer camps have been going very well, so we're very excited about that program. And in addition to all of the leagues, athletics, and other programming that's going on through the community center as well.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments for Shannon?
Quick comment. Shannon, I was out and about this morning and I saw the west side of the town hall campus looking very busy, very active, and it looked like a lot of fun. I honestly wanted to stop and join you.
Next time you should.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. HR?
Yes, thank you. Thanks to all the good work that Shannon and her team are doing. We've been pretty busy onboarding new staff, about 66 summer camp staff, and about half of those were new hires. We've also hired some other DPW seasonal staff, so we've been busy there. I would like to point out that the Office Clerk 3 exam will be held in September. The deadline is July 31st for that exam. And the police officer exam, the deadline to apply for that is August 4th for those that are interested. That exam will be on September 9th.
Okay, any questions or comments for Jason?
I have a quick question. Jason, I'm just wondering if we had an opportunity to do any tabling at the market or when we're open for business on Saturdays to help with some of the recruiting process.
We haven't picked a date for that yet, but we will be out at the market soon. But please don't wait for us to be out there. We are open at Town Hall or online, but yeah, you'll see us at the farmer's market in the coming weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Jason, did I see, I think a news report that the fees have been waived for civil service exams for a period of time here?
That's possible. They were waived previously, so maybe they just continued it.
Maybe it was,
I can look into that for you.
maybe it was in the past, recent past.
It was coming out of COVID. I'm not sure if they've continued
I
that.
think that there's a new program that the state is putting forward again for a period of time where civil service exams were, the cost is being waived. But
Yeah, if that's the case, then we should get that out through social media and other avenues if they've extended that or if that's a new program. So,
I'll find out for sure.
okay, thank you. All right, anyone else? Okay, Chief?
Yes, it was obviously quite exciting. Last week, taking the delivery of our two razors, or UTVs, took them down yesterday morning to the print shop and actually got them all labeled up, look just like police cars, so there'll be no mistaking whether or not they are police vehicles or not. We're just waiting for our lighting package to come in. We'll get those out there, and then we're ready to go. We're going to be using those. Right now, with all the markings and all that stuff on there, we can use them on a detail with a marked vehicle, so we might see them out there this weekend. So with that, also, we also took delivery of all of our stuff for our teen academy. So Monday night, we're actually having a parents and attendees meeting so that we can get everybody's paperwork and everything all sorted out beforehand, make sure all their waivers are all signed, make sure we hand out all their clothing, everything else, give them their what to expect. And then the first week, actually August 7th, the first day of camp will be. So we have a full week planned for all of our campers.
Okay, thank you. I'm excited to see that youth program back in. I think it's a great way to connect with our community as we continue to build bonds between our community and our police department. No better place than our youth to connect with. So thanks for getting that going again. Anyone else have anything for?
Chief, what time is that meeting going to be?
It's going to be 6 o'clock. It's going to be at
Where,
at the community center.
The community center?
Yeah, so we're doing the community center, and that's each day where the cadets will actually meet each day at 8 o'clock, and then we'll also be dispersing from there each day. So kind of.
Very good. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Madam Clerk?
The update from the clerk's office is that we are beginning to prepare for the school tax collection beginning September 1st. And we collect for 2 months. And I'd like to welcome Latasha Elder, who has started working in the town clerk's office. And she's very much welcomed. She is here if she'd like to stand up.
Come on. Hey.
And so she's shadowing now and plans to take the passport test and for notary, and which is much needed in the department. And other than that, everything else is going well in the clerk's office.
Okay, thank you. And from supervisors, one of the hot topics from our residents, it's been on the news and getting some attention, is the Skyview Apartments. So I've been working on finding some answers and solutions to this project for about a year now. It's been extremely frustrating, but we are working hard to improve the situation up there for the residents that are in that building, around that building, for the businesses that are around there, and finally have some people that are on board now and sharing the information. They realize that there's an issue there, so I'm working with Pastone, who are the property managers there, and Rochester General, who are managing a program there. So as many of you know, that was advertised as affordable senior housing complex, one that was built for a town for a lifetime, where our seniors here in town could go and age in place and stay in town and stay where their families are close. And as families moved in, they could bring in their parents and live there. So there's about 156 units, and it seems, well, it doesn't seem, it is. They have a program, the Empire State Supportive Housing Initiative. That takes up about half the units there. And people in that population fall under the categories of serious mental illness, substance use disorder, person living with HIV or AIDS, victims, survivors of domestic violence, military service with disabilities, chronic homelessness, youth, young adults who left foster care, homeless young adults, youth, and young adults re-entering the community from incarceration, juvenile justice placement, particularly those with disabling conditions, and the frail and elderly. So it's a little bit different than what this board and residents thought was coming in there, but we are working hard with the group to improve that situation, make sure the residents there are getting what they need. Our police, our ambulance, community cupboard, and other volunteer organizations here have been very overwhelmed by the building, and we get a ton of calls from residents inside there seeking help. So we are trying to help. It was very difficult to get everybody on board and get everybody admitting to what was happening there. But I did find some partners in Pastone and Rochester General to help improve this. A little disappointed in some others that are not helping. So I wish Patrina Freeman was here today, as she could fill in. There's some, she had a lot to do with the recruitment with Pastone, the County of Monroe. Her and the former supervisor played a big role, and I'd love for her to be here and be able to kind of go over what went into that recruitment and shed some light on the process of that. But we're working to improve it. We want to make sure that we are giving the residents that live there a good opportunity to re-enter, whether they're coming out of incarceration or homelessness, that they are successful, and make sure that they're getting the services that they need. Unfortunately, the services are not mandatory. The programs are not mandatory, but we're working on that hard. And I apologize that it's taken this long, but we are, like I said, it's been a year process just to get the right people at the table. So, from the supervisor, that's pretty much the lead right now in town as far as concerned. Now that the assessment is over, obviously UPREP is still hanging out there for that neighborhood, is very upset with UPREP, so we're going through that process, but this Skyview is obviously on the forefront of concern for many here in town. So I'll now go on to update from town attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Litigation status update, the Freeman case that's now at the Second Circuit, you'll recall this was the federal district court case that was dismissed. Second Circuit appeal is going on right now that Ms. Freeman brought, Councilwoman Freeman, and briefing is fully complete, despite some extensions requested by the plaintiff's attorney. Oral argument has been scheduled for the week of October 2nd. We don't have an exact date yet. That will take place in New York City. So certainly, once we get more information about the particular date and which of the judges, there's about a dozen judges on the Second Circuit, only 3 will hear the case. I'd be happy to pass that along. Second, we've got the notice of claim that was filed by Councilmember Freeman. Still no progress on that. We have requested the pre-litigation questioning and the medical records. We have not received a date for the questioning or the medical records from the claimant. The Knipple case, that was the challenging of the grant of a variance that last month I reported that the town had won. Yesterday, a notice of appeal was filed, so that may or may not go to the 4th Department. That's the Intermediate Appeal Court in New York State. There's a process of what we call perfecting the appeal, which means filing the brief that needs to happen before we know that the case will in fact go forward as an appeal. And that we should know in the next several months if that's going to happen. And then we've got the historic designation of 690 Titus Avenue. The judge did issue a decision late last week where there was found a procedural irregularity with the notice that went out. So that will be addressed at the July meeting for the Historic Preservation Board. You'll recall that the Historic Preservation Commission had reissued the designation in May. It'll be the same thing, just with appropriate notice. That will happen in July. So that's for the litigation status update. As far as in-process local laws, the town property law amendments were passed last month. The bow hunt law, the public hearing will take place next week, and that's the same for the changes to the abandoned vehicles law. Short-term rentals are still in progress, and that's it for me.
Okay, can you just, I've been getting a lot of questions about this, and it's probably a good timing since she would be useful here at this meeting. The attendance of the board member is not under our control. She's an elected official. She can come when she wants to. We don't have any ability to act on that, correct?
That is correct. The code of conduct that the board passed earlier this year does address it to the extent that the town board is able to. Certainly there are provisions where you're going to make best efforts to attend every meeting and to be engaged in the town and what's going on so that you can be a productive member at the meeting. And there is actually a provision too that says that if you're not going to be able to make it, you inform the town clerk of that fact so that we can plan for quorum and such. Now, all but one of the present council members have signed the code of conduct. If I recall correctly, when Councilmember Freeman was asked about it, she said that her attorney had handled it. That is not correct. In fact, her attorney did place an objection with me about it. I responded to it, just saying that absolutely the town board has the right to institute a code of conduct. And that they did so, they passed it, and everyone is therefore required to adhere to it. I did not receive any response back from her attorney.
Okay, thank you. It's just a question I get from residents all the time, and I figured it was a good time to get it out. So, okay, we'll now move on to Comptroller. She can give her update and move right into the financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The Comptroller's Office, we had the auditors from Bonadio Group on site last month. The draft report should be available next week for review. We're gearing up for the 2024 budget season, which will kick off August 1st. We have filed our CDBG annual action plan, and I just got word today that that was approved by HUD. And regarding the Front Step project, we have received 60 applications, 45 of which have been approved, and there's a handful still waiting for some additional information. Okay. And then moving on to the financial report. The 2023 financial results as of June 30th. The town's total expenses of $21,845,000 represent 52% of budget and are slightly higher than the 50% of the year that has elapsed. Of the total expense, $17,609,000 are actual expenses, equating to 42% of budget, while encumbrances of $4,236,000 make up the remaining 10.1%. Encumbrances represent commitments for services, supplies, and commodities that will be needed during the year. The general fund expenses are on par to budget at 50.7%, or $13,527,000. The actual expenses are 44% of budget, or $11,730,000. The remaining 6.7% is due to encumbrances of $1,797,000. Contained within the general fund encumbrances are general townwide street lighting, attorney fees, the EMS contract, cemetery columbarium construction, and other contracted expenses throughout the town. Collectively, the expenses on the highway funds of $4,149,000 are higher than the 50% of the year that has elapsed at 71.2%. Actual expenses within the highway funds are 36.5% of budget, or $2,127,000, and encumbrances of $2,023,000 account for the remaining 34.7%. Encumbrances within the highway funds include $525,000 for ARPA-funded equipment, $867,000 for paving materials and services, including oil and stoning materials, $216,000 for fuel, and $76,000 for surface treatment. Expenditures in the library are higher than budget at $1,455,000, or 52.1%. Included in that expense is serial bond payments of $483,000 for the library facility. The sewer fund expenses of $1,743,000 are at 39.7% of budget. Actual expenses equate to 36.3% of budget, or $1,594,000, while encumbrances of $149,000 account for the remaining 3.4%. Expenses in the stormwater drainage are approximately 37.9% of budget, a total of $356,000. Actual expenses are $277,000, or 29.5%, while encumbrances account for the remaining 8.4%. Actual expenditures, excluding encumbrances for the entire town as well as the town's three major funds, are below the 50% of the year that has elapsed. Actual townwide expenses represent 42% of budget, while actual expenses for the general fund are 44%, the consolidated highway funds 36.5%, and the sewer fund 36.3%. The general fund has received revenue of $18,306,000, or 70.7% of budget. At the end of June, 100% of real estate tax of $12,007,000 has been collected. 97.7% of payment in lieu of tax revenue is in. An additional $25,000 is due in October. 2 months of sales tax totaling $1,271,000, or 22.3% of budget, have been received to date. Other major revenue sources, such as franchise cable fees, mortgage tax, and AIM-related payments, are due later in the year. 82.3% of recreation program fees have been received through June. The total town revenue and appropriated fund balance for the first half of the year equate to $31,012,000, or 75.5%. Real estate taxes across the funds are $18,260,000. At month end, the library has recorded revenue of $2,748,000, or 98.4%. 74.1%, or $4,308,000 of revenue has been verified by the highway funds. The sewer fund has documented $4,238,000, or 97.2% of revenue. Stormwater drainage has received 99.4% of its budgeted revenue at $883,000. Page 3 of this financial report presents the second quarter year-to-date summary in comparison to the prior 6 years. Regarding expenditures by fund, which are included on the top third of the page, the percent of budget spent and encumbered is 52%, which is slightly higher than previous years. The middle third of the page contains relevant sources of revenue for the general fund, and the bottom third of the page are the year-to-date revenue comparisons of the funds, with the last line reflecting the total collective revenue and fund balance for the town. The 2023 general fund revenue of 70.7% is slightly higher than prior years, as is the town-wide revenue of 75.5%. Fluctuations occur year to year due to timing of cash receipts. The town has received our full allocation of American Rescue funds totaling $22,455,000. The use of this funding is restricted for the response to and relief of COVID-19 and can be used to cover costs incurred through December 31st, 2024. To date, approximately $18 million has been allocated to projects. Roughly $6.5 million, or 28.8%, has been expended, and an additional $3.6 million, or 16%, is encumbered for various projects, including the McAvoy turf and other various playground retrofits, the columbarium construction, sewer and drainage improvements, and IT projects and equipment. This concludes the financial report for the month of June 2023.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions for the comptroller? Okay, we'll now move on to meeting minutes.
There's going to be 3 sets of minutes for approval. The June 13 workshop meeting, June 20, the regular town board meeting, and June 30, the special town board meeting.
Okay, any questions or comments regarding the minutes? Okay, we'll now move on to items for board action at the July 18th, 2023 board meeting.
Okay. Well, there's going to be 3 public hearings held next Tuesday night. The first one is a special use permit for 4348 Culver Road, and referring the same to the planning board for comment. That's from the Community Development Department.
Okay, Michelle, do you want to talk on that?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Yes, this is the application that was received last month to call for a public hearing. This is, the public hearing has been scheduled. The notices have gone out. The public hearing will be held next week on the 18th. And Megan, if you could help me with the rest of the resolution with the referring the resolution to the planning board, excuse me.
Certainly. So you'll recall at the June town board meeting, the town board had referred the matter to the planning board for their comment on the application. That process is really meant to exploit the experience and the subject matter knowledge of the planning board. They did return a report which was abbreviated, we'll say. And so this resolution that's proposed for next week will re-refer it to the planning board with specific instructions to answer certain questions. And those are, it's actually referring to section 92, 235-92 of the town code, and goes through all the factors that the planning board looks at when they approve or deny a special use permit. So we're just asking them to follow their process in advising the board, the town board, as to whether this is something that should go ahead.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is largely related to the parking, right? So, there's a major concern with the residents and with the size of the restaurant that parking's an issue, and planning board gave us a positive referral with no solution to the parking, or no comments on the parking.
The only comment that was received, and this is in your packet, is that special attention needs to be paid to the parking.
Right, which is supposed to be done by their expertise, correct?
Certainly their expertise would be helpful in that regard.
So parking is part of their purview review, and they did not give us any input on that?
If they were considering the special use permit themselves, there are certain categories of special use permits that the planning board looks at themselves. And if they were, parking would be part of the consideration. So we're just asking for them to go through their normal processes and advise us so that we can benefit from their expertise.
Anyone else? Peter? Scratching your head, Peter, what do you got?
Part of parking is site plan review. There's X number of spots contained within the site, which by code should beget a certain number of seats within the restaurant, correct? I mean, can we at least have that analysis, which is straight math from the zoning ordinance?
As long as we're not counting the ones on the street.
Yeah, we're not counting street, they have no handicap parking either?
I believe they have handicap parking in the rear,
The service door.
but it has been determined by the commissioner that those 8 spots that are in the right-of-way are not allowed to be on the site plan depicted
Okay.
for their parking.
We did get an email explanation from a former, was he a former
Yeah,
commissioner?
former DPW
Or
commissioner.
former DPW commissioner that those are indeed town spots that are not supposed to be counted on.
So yes, per the site plan right now that I have in front of me, there's 2 handicap parking spaces in the rear of the structure.
All right, but I mean, as a town engineer or the zoning department, can they do an analysis of the existing parking and the proposed seats and what the parking that would exist on site would allow for seats within the restaurant for our use and review?
For the planning board.
The planning board is gonna do that, because that's their,
I believe
So basically,
that's the point of sending it back to the planning board, that's what they're supposed to do.
it's 1 per every 3 seats. Don't quote me, in the C Business District, I believe that that's what's required, but I'd have to double check the code.
so
They
that
have
would be,
currently
it would be 10 seats, right?
19 parking spaces on site.
Yeah, 10 spots.
For 30, but then they'd need
Yeah,
20
that's what I mean.
spots for
So
60.
There's more than, I don't know how many spots per behind there.
They're stating 19 parking spaces on site, 8 parking spaces off site, 2 handicap spaces for a total of 27 spaces. So minus.
That's for 3 to 4 different businesses, though, that's not for just their business.
Correct. And there was a stipulation, I believe, that they're working on within the lease that the lease agreement stated that 10 of those parking spaces needs to be designated to the other businesses within the building.
Therefore, you can't count them.
No, so now we're down to 17, right?
And the street parking was included in the original. Those 7 spots were counted in that original counting. So this is why it needs to go back to the planning board. We
Correct.
really need
I guess
their
I just wonder
expertise
why
on
it's
it.
before our board if the planning issues aren't resolved.
All right.
I mean,
That's a good question. We should
Good
ask the
question,
planning
yeah.
board that.
Yeah, it's
why are we even having people come before us if,
Well, we
we're
already
just
announced the
gonna-
public hearing. So we'll still let people speak, but we'll have to keep it open.
Right. And they have also made application to the zoning board for the
a parking variance?
parking.
Yes, I guess the answer to that, Peter, is we thought that we would get a completed review from the planning board, and we didn't get it. So we didn't realize that till after we had already voted the public hearing in and are at this point now, so. But it does not hurt to let the residents come and speak, right? Give them an opportunity to come and speak so that we're aware of what their concerns are, or if they're okay with the project, then please come in and let us know. Okay, anyone else? Okay, next item.
The second public hearing is on the matter of amending Town Code Chapter 93 regarding the bow hunt regulations.
Okay, Chief?
Yeah, this is going to be just memorializing some things as far as when we can, the hunters can set up their tree stands before and after the season. It's going to be making sure that each participant is signing a code of conduct. And the third part, trying to remember what the third part was. Yeah, I had it in my notes. I'm sorry, I don't have my notes for this one.
think it was just making it public on the website.
Sign a code of conduct. Did we say that one?
Oh, and then, I'm sorry, that's the reason I don't have my notes. Reporting the number of deer culled from the herd. We gather that information yearly anyway, so it's just a formal way to memorialize it.
It will be much more transparent on the website also.
Yes, sir.
As well. Okay. All right, any questions or comments?
I'll give a quick comment, Mr. Supervisor. Chief, I've gotten a lot of positive comments about the fact that we embraced the folks that came to us, we listened, we made changes, very objective and being more transparent, so all good comments.
Great.
Yeah, and I think, which I hope is a positive as far as when people come in and they expressed to me that they were supposed to review every year. They were promised that. It hasn't happened. No changes in 5 years. We've made changes. We'll see how those go and make changes as we do it and kind of honor that promise of the yearly review of it and continue to make upgrades as we go. So, but I think it's a good step forward. We're listening to the concerns. We're adding and seeing how it goes from there. So, if anybody else has anything, if not, we'll move on to the next item.
The third public hearing is amending Town Code Chapter 219 regarding regulation of abandoned vehicles.
Okay, Chief, this is you.
Yeah, again, this is another policy that is in use in other municipalities, allowing the use of seized vehicles that have basically gone unclaimed for well past the legal statutes or limitations. Our town code never had it so that we could actually use them for police use or for the town use, and this is just going to allow us to have a cheaper alternative to be able to outfit the officers for doing their work.
Okay, any questions or comments?
Can I ask a quick question, Mr.
Yes.
Supervisor? Chief, if you were to give me a definition of the vehicle, would that be anything with wheels that moved?
Theoretically, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, next item.
Over to the comptroller, we have several resolutions. The first one is an agreement with Catholic Family Center through the CDBG.
Okay, Madam Comptroller.
Okay, so this resolution would authorize an agreement with the Catholic Family Services in the amount of $27,000 for the 2023 CDBG grant year. This is part of the CDBG program, which was approved by the board. Catholic Family Services provides non-medical home support services to the elderly, including coordination of services, transportation for errands, and home chores.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, next item.
The next item is an agreement with the Housing Council at Pathstone for housing counseling services to low and moderate income residents through the CDBG.
This is another piece of the CDBG program which was approved. This would authorize an agreement with the Housing Council at Pathstone for foreclosure prevention and counseling services, and the amount of this contract would be for $26,000.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
Yep. Where are these services rendered?
They have a hotline which is publicized so the residents can call in, and if they meet the criteria, then they work with the homeowners.
So these are any homeowner in Arundequoit?
In Arundequoit, correct.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I was just going to comment on, I didn't know if we used up all the money that we had allocated for this in the last year, but I've gotten some really positive feedback about this program in particular for homeowners that are getting that first Liz Pendants or that first notice from their lender that they're in trouble, and recognizing they're in trouble. Having a place to go to get objective information, not be judged, and find a way to a path forward is vital. This is a vital tool that we're giving the residents, so thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next item.
The next item is an agreement with the Arundequoit Community Cupboard to provide healthy food choices to low-income residents through the CDBG.
So again, this is part of the 2023 CDBG program that was adopted by the town board. This would authorize an agreement with the Arundequoit Community Cupboard for $22,000 to continue to provide healthy meals to households within Arundequoit.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? John and I got to go see the new facility the other day. It's absolutely gorgeous and
Very impressive.
yeah, it's sad that we need it, but we need it, and we are very lucky to have Debbie Evans and her team here in Arundequoit. So this is obviously a no-brainer. So, but just a thanks to them for all the hard work they do here in town. So much needed, and it's become increasingly more used. So kudos to them for all they do. Okay, next item.
Next item is an agreement with Lifespan of Greater Rochester for the Home Safe Home for Seniors program of support services to the elderly through the CDBG.
Okay, so again, a piece of the CDBG program, which was approved by the town board. This would authorize an agreement with Lifespan of Rochester in the amount of $15,000 to provide home falls prevention assessments and minor modification to Arundequoit homes. And this has been an ongoing service which is widely utilized by the residents.
Okay, anyone have any questions or comments? Okay, next item.
The next item is an agreement with Lifespan of Greater Rochester for transportation services to the elderly through CDBG.
Okay, this is the last CDBG resolution, again, authorized through the CDBG program. This would authorize an agreement with Lifespan of Greater Rochester for $32,148 to continue to provide transportation services for the elderly through its travel partners. Again, this has also been widely utilized by the town of Arundequoit. And they also work with residents to help counsel them on other means of transportation so they're able to locate transportation on their own.
Okay, anyone else?
And I just add to, this is another great program. Thank you for bringing this all to us, Diana. But when you talk about finding services, other services for those seniors, so the iRide program and other programs allow seniors to do things not just inclusive of going to a doctor's appointment, but maybe meeting friends for lunch at the diner, or taking a ride in the park, or watching some golf get played down at Durand. It's to have that quality of life while they're aging in place, which is just awesome. So thank you.
Yeah, I often meet with the seniors up at the rec center, and transportation is always a topic of conversation. So a good program and much needed here in our town. Okay, next item.
Next item is authorizing a donation from special events to St. Kateri Tekakwitha Parish.
So this resolution would authorize a donation to St. Kateri Parish in the amount of $1,000 to thank them for the use of the building and parking lot during the July 4th celebration. This donation would be made from the Special Events Fund, which is funded through donations and sponsorships for the event, so there would be no tax revenue utilized for this.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? While we're on the subject of gifts, I did not prepare, and Aaron's not here, but I'd like to prepare a resolution for next Tuesday's meeting regarding Rotary. They want to, they have a bench in honor of General Rappel, and we need to accept that gift and get that out for display and placed. So if we can get a resolution for next board meeting, that was my fault for
Can
not
do, no
initiating.
problem.
Okay, all right, just want to let everyone know that's coming down the path. So I think we have a good spot for it now. I'll do some landscaping from the town. Rotary's a part of it, and the Legion is agreeing to where it goes. So next item.
Next item is authorizing the use of American Rescue Plan Act funding for the upgrading of Town Hall campus facilities.
Okay, this resolution would increase the allocation for the Town Hall campus facility upgrades by $650,000 to bring that total to $1 million. $350,000 was authorized by the town board back in July of 2022. This project includes restroom upgrades, dog kennel, and upgrades to the public safety building's exercise facilities.
Okay, anyone questions or comments?
Well, Mr. Supervisor, I just want to thank you for adding mortar caulk to that list.
Perfect.
Done.
We'll get that on there. So, but obviously bathrooms are much more expensive now than they were when the original ARPA was designated, and we have some work to do with making them ADA accessible. So cost is a little bit more than originally thought. Anyone else? All right, next item.
Next item is authorizing the use of American Rescue Plan Act funding for the upgrading of Town Hall campus outdoor facilities.
Okay, Diana?
Okay, so this resolution would authorize the use of ARPA funding to fund the outdoor campus facility, which a lot of people have referred to as the backyard project. Currently, there is no dollar amount on the resolution. Estimates for this project are expected this week. So once those estimates are received and reviewed, the amount will be completed prior to next week's board meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, next item.
There's two items from Human Resources. The first is approving the tentative agreement with CSEA Blue Collar Unit for a successor contract.
Okay, Jason?
Thank you. As you know, the contract with the Blue Collar expired at the end of last year, so we've been in mediation for a few months now. And in the interest of moving forward, we decided to enter a simple agreement to carry this contract forward for 2 years, with all the terms and conditions the same, with the exception of a 3% raise effective upon ratification and a 3% raise for the unit on 1/1/2024.
Okay, anyone questions or comments? Go ahead,
Maybe
Kenny.
next week. I need to think about it.
Okay. Okay. Next item.
His second resolution is authorizing an employee to attend PSHRA annual conference.
Okay, Jason?
Thank you. As the clerk mentioned, this would approve me to travel to San Diego this year to attend the PASHRA annual conference. That'll be 3 days of training and development for myself. And it is budgeted this year.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, next item.
From Public Works, there's 3 resolutions. The first is reallocating funding for the DPW awarded projects.
Okay, Tommy and Ann?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution is just reallocating funding that was already approved last year, and that was taking an additional $100,000 from the Hedgegarth Bellmead, which is the 2022 sewer replacement project. That project has been completed. The anticipated cost for that was a little bit more and a little bit, I'm going to say, sketchy, just because the cost for materials had increased so much after COVID. So that's why that was a little bit more. But we'd like to reallocate those ARPA monies to the Amherst Park Pump Station Replacement Project. While we were doing that project, it was determined that the main sanitary sewer line from Amherst Park Pump Station out to Titus Avenue was in need of repair, and the thought was felt that that this would be the best time to go ahead and do that, especially since we had the funds there and that's what, just to reallocate those $100,000.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments?
I have a question.
I got one too.
All right, Diana, do we have to be a little more, I don't want to say careful, that's just the word that comes to mind. It's ARPA money. So can we move this around the same way that we do other line item money?
We can. I think this probably would have been better worded that we were reducing one project and just allocating an additional amount to a new project.
That sounds better already.
Okay.
Okay. Can
So-
we make sure that we express that differently?
Yep.
Yeah, so, and going forward, any money that's not spent in a certain project will then be pulled back into the main ARPA fund.
Right.
And then redistributed from there.
Right.
So there
and
will
it doesn't
not,
sound that way right now, so
Yeah,
I want to
so-
make
So
sure
that's
that.
what we're doing here, kind of, right?
yeah, so it's coming back to the ARPA, then being reallocated out to a new project.
Right. I guess
So-
if we explain it that way, I'd feel a lot better about it.
Yeah, because there's obviously things that have been done in the past similar
Yep.
to what you're saying,
Yep.
and we're not doing that
Not doing
anymore.
that. Okay.
So, instead of just throwing a dollar amount on a project and then saying, well, I have $200,000 left, can I put it over, can I just slide it over here? We're not doing that. It's coming back into the main ARPA fund, and then there needs to be a new ask, and then reallocated from there. So
Thank you.
that's what's happening.
Okay.
Yep.
I just have one. So the Hedgegarth Belmead project you're telling me was under budget? Is that where this $100,000 came from, Ann?
It's my understanding,
Because it was a bid job, right?
it was,
Obviously.
but it's my understanding that, that had to do with the cost of materials.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to
It was a-
interrupt, but, so what happened with a lot of this ARPA funding is there was just a dollar amount put on with no estimates of projects, no budgeting, no thing, somebody somewhere said, I think this project's gonna be $1 million, so let's reserve $1 million, and then went through the process. So we're seeing those numbers either come back a lot lower or a lot more. So in the case of, say, Town Hall, where someone just stamped a $350,000 with doing no background or no homework to it, and now we're short there. But McAvoy, someone put a $2 million ARPA tag on it, and it was only $1.2 million. So that's where we want to make sure we pull that money back into the ARPA funds
And
then
reallocate it.
redistribute it from there.
Thank you for the
So
transparency.
it's much more clear to us, to our residents. Just better tracking of where that money's going. Does that answer your question somewhat? So under budget is kind of
And then it
a
comes
loose
back.
term right now for that stuff.
Okay.
So, okay, next item.
Next item is purchase of one tree truck to be used by DPW.
Okay, this is an item where we need to replace our large tree truck, and this is for a 2025 model year, so we would be ordering it now, and it would take a bit to be built. And this is coming under the Onondaga County bids, so that we could purchase this specific vehicle. And Regional International won the bid for this, and this specific truck is approximately $301,000.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
Was this a budgeted item, Ann?
That was my question exactly.
I believe so.
And it'll be offset to some degree by, I'm assuming, selling the old truck?
Correct.
Go ahead, Peter.
That was my question exactly. I just wanted to make sure we had funding for it and that on an ongoing basis, when it comes to replace it again, it's something that's thought of in the future.
Well, with this amount of vehicle like this, Ann, do you know, do they want a down payment? Do you have any idea, or you just go ahead and
We
order?
typically do not need
Okay.
to give a down payment. Basically, we give a copy of the resolution having it
Yeah,
be
they
approved,
know. Okay,
as well as a purchase order.
okay, the
Um,
purchase
but
orders,
Thi-
they know that
This
it's gonna
truck
go
is
ahead.
going to be at least a year, year and a half
See
out
that.
before it's actually received.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next item.
Next item is the award of bid for Arundequoit Farmers Market Cold Storage Building renovation.
Okay, this is a bid that is out now. It will be opening on Friday, and at that time, we'll find out, what the amount is and what the anticipated amount is. I believe the funding is allocated for this, although we don't know what it is right at the moment. We will know that by Tuesday at the next town board meeting.
So, yeah.
Well,
so-
we did a walkthrough today. We had the contractors there, so we walked through the project. So yes, like Ann said, the bids will come in on Friday. I believe this project is from a grant. This is an ARPA fund project. So, that's what we're gonna be using for this project. I think it was 500. Was it 500?
Yeah, it's a $500,000 grant that is specifically allocated towards year-round farmers market building. So that's all being put into this building and the surrounding area to make it just that.
Yeah, we're gonna make it, it's gonna be a nice project, we're gonna upgrade everything, and right now DPW's there starting to clean the place out, so it'll be good, so.
Hopeful for the fall.
Yeah, pardon me? Yeah, it'll be ready for the fall. I think once the bids come out, they get the insurances from everybody, I'm hoping mid-August anyway. Oh yeah, it'll be ready for fall, because there's not a lot of work to be done there, and I think the contractors, whoever was there today, they'll be ready to go when we're ready to go, so that'll be good. So I think it's a good project to
Repurposing,
redevelop
yeah.
that cold storage, so.
Yeah, how old is that cold storage? Because
12,
not that
13.
old, right?
It's not that
Yeah,
old.
yeah. So repurpose that instead of tearing it down, and
Yeah, it'll be a nice project.
it's actually quite a large building. When you go over there and
Yeah.
go through it, it's surprisingly big. So we'll have a lot of flexibility there with future markets, future events, and it'll be a good spot for our residents.
Yep.
Mr. Supervisor,
Yeah.
can I bounce back to the CSEA
Yeah.
contract so I don't
Yeah.
have to wait till next week? I'm
Yep.
just a little confused.
Yep.
I was not part of the negotiations this
Yep.
time, and I understand that there was some kind of an impasse because
Yep.
we went to mediation. But now this is acknowledging an increase, and not just for 1 year, but for 2. I don't know. That just seems odd to me if we haven't fleshed it all out. How does this work? Or maybe you can give me some insight? I know you're not our, labor attorney, but
Well,
it almost makes it sound like if you disagree, that's a good thing, because you're just going to get this sort of a knee-jerk raise and you don't have to finish negotiating. I don't know. How does this work?
So you're correct, I'm not the labor attorney that negotiates these. Jason, I don't know if you can speak to some of the details, excuse me, surrounding the negotiation?
Sure, I can. Typically, when we renegotiate a contract, the town, we're not asking for a lot. We want to make sure the terms and conditions are fair. It's typically the employee organization that has some demands. We went into this looking for some give and take on our health insurance. We wanted to encourage the high deductible plan. I can tell you moving forward that our final proposal will be offered voluntarily to the employees. So those that want it, it's there for them anyway. Other than that, there's, unfortunately, the employee organization gave up a whole lot of their demands to get this increase. We had already agreed on several items, including an adjustment to the auto mechanics wages, senior auto mechanic, a longevity increase. They wanted a 4-year contract, settled for 2. They had asked for an increase in their compensatory bank, and that won't happen. Changes to their on-call hours, call-in pay, added holidays, paid parental leave, and tuition reimbursement.
Is it possible that this is something that we could make a private appointment and go up into HR and review so that we felt more comfortable?
I think that is absolutely permissible, but I would defer to Jason on that,
Yep.
too.
Absolutely. Any of the
Okay.
board members can come up at any time.
I'd feel better about that. It just seems very vague, and I'm being honest to tell you that I'm not really sure what I'm either agreeing to or disagreeing with.
So Jason, you're saying they waived all that for a 2-year, 3% increase?
But it's not a contract.
No, we had
Right.
tentatively agreed on those items.
Right.
And when we declared impasse, they just settled for a 3% increase without any of those terms.
All right, for 2 years.
Yes.
So we don't revisit that contract now for 2 years?
In 2024, we'll be renegotiating.
Not retroactive either, is it?
No, well, it would go into effect when they ratified last week, depending on this board approving it.
So at the end, I mean, it's a 1.5% raise, really, if you look at
For
it
this
that way,
year,
yeah,
right.
for this year.
Yeah,
I guess
monetarily.
I would love the opportunity to have you explain it to me without taking up everybody's time, so I felt confident in what I was voting on.
Absolutely.
I'll make an appointment.
Sure.
Okay, anyone else on either one of those topics? Okay, next item.
There is a fourth resolution from DPW that I've placed at your chairs, and it is declaring certain equipment surplus.
There are two pieces of equipment that are both backhoe loaders that we would like to declare surplus as we are no longer using them.
Okay, any questions or comments?
Do we not use them because we don't need them, or are they old?
They're older and they're just being replaced, which is a common
Okay,
practice.
So it's on the replacement list, kind of.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Next item.
Okay, there's three resolutions from Recreation. The first, accepting gifts for Arundecoy's classic car cruising.
Okay, Shannon?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution allows us to move forward with planning for the Classic Car Cruise-In on July 23rd here at Town Hall. We do have several generous volunteers who are donating both in kind and monetary services for this event in the form of a hot dog lunch to be served to our guests. We will be looking for a suggested donation, which will be contributed to the Town's United Way campaign at the end of the event.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, next item.
Allocating funding for the town's 2024 4th of July celebration.
Okay, Shannon?
Thank you. This resolution will allow us to earmark some ARPA funds for next year's July 4th celebration, which is the 50th anniversary celebration. We are looking to expand some of our offerings for next year's festival, including an expanded fireworks display, as well as various entertainment options and commemorative items that we want to offer to the community to celebrate our 50th.
Okay, any questions or comments?
I already know the answer, but I'll just ask for the record. So Diana, this was approved by the group who overlooks how we spend the ARPA funds? This is an approved ARPA expenditure.
It is approved under the revenue recovery portion.
Okay, thanks.
All right, anyone else? Okay, next item.
Accepting gifts for the 4th of July celebration.
Shannon?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution allows us to accept and acknowledge our very generous sponsors, donors, and volunteers from this year's 4th of July festival that took place last week.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? All right, next item.
Okay, from the town clerk's office, we have a resolution approving the special event license for the St. Josaphat's Ukrainian Catholic Church Annual Festival. And this festival is going to begin on Saturday. It's going to be Thursday, August 17th through Sunday, August 20th. And it is an event that's been held before. It's extremely popular, and we have all the approvals on it.
Okay, thank you. This is a great event here in town. We have a great Ukrainian population here in town, and it attracts people from all over the place. So this is an event that's been around a long time and enjoyed by a lot. So excited to have it back again this year. Anyone else? Okay, we're going to enter an executive session pursuant to Public Officers Law, Section 105(1)F, for discussion of employment matters. Can I get a motion to enter into executive session? Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, we'll be entering executive session and be back shortly. July 11th, 2023. Our next board meeting is next Tuesday, July 20th at 7 p.m. July 18th at 7 p.m. here in the Broderick Room. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this meeting is adjourned.